Hello, and welcome to the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I am so excited that you decided to tune in today. We're going to take a journey through vulnerability so that we can reach clarity, healing, growth, and success. You're going to learn some things about you, you'll learn some things about me, but most importantly, you will receive tools every episode that will help you to become better every single day. Enjoy Coach Therapy. Hello. Welcome to a new episode of the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I'm excited that you've clicked on another episode. We are going strong. Now, let me tell y'all, I decided, let me get on this podcast today. Let me go ahead and record an episode. And then my computer was bugging out. I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to be able to record. But I worked through it. I pushed through it. I know last week we was talking about consistency, and it's crazy how when you make up in your mind to do something, then those things come, those little roadblocks, the hiccups come, and they try to get you off task, they try to pull you off, but you got to make up in your mind, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do what I got to do. And so that is exactly what I did today. I'm even holding my podcast mic, which I normally don't. But I was like, you know what? I feel like kind of just sitting back, chilling, relaxing, but just having a real conversation with you today. And so I'm excited and I'm grateful that you decided to join in on the Coach Therapy Podcast. All right, y'all. So let's get into it, shall we? Because I've had a long day. And so I am happy to be able to be vulnerable in this moment. I am a routine person. I want you to know that. I don't really like to switch it up too much. Like if I got a routine, I can get up, I can do that every day and I'm cool with it. I don't like a lot of change. I don't like things to shift. I like to, pretty much be around the same people, stay in the same place, whatever. Like I am cool with that. I always say if I had to live in a bubble, I totally could. And I mean it. And I think I might be able to live in a little bubble. But that is not conducive for growth. Being if you're not flexible, that is not conducive for your growth. We have to learn how to pivot when we need to pivot, and we have to step outside of our comfort zones and all of those things. And that's where I am because I am ready to grow to the next level. And so I'm having to change up my routine. I can be so loyal to my routine that I ignore me. Am I the only person that's guilty of being more loyal to the routine than you are to yourself? Let me give you a little bit more context about it. If I say, okay, I'm getting up at 8:30 every day and I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and that's been my routine, I'll do that. I'll ignore completely how I feel and I'll go for it. But routines are great. They keep us on course, they help us move in the right direction and really just kind of find some cadence to our day. Routines can be great for that. When it comes down to the flexibility needed to grow and to shift, routines can be very, very impactful in a negative way to that process. For instance, today I am recording this podcast on the day that I don't normally record podcasts. Um it's like midday. I try to get up early, record my podcast, do fresh hair, fresh makeup, all of the things prior to getting on. Today was a little bit different. I've been on a computer all day. I had some stress going on in the background, all of the things. But I know that I also have some other things coming up that could possibly get in the way of what I need to do. And so I'm like, you need to pivot. I know you got your little routine. I know it's uncomfortable to shift and to move, and you got to move things around. And so what? I had to get over myself today so that I could grow. And a lot of times we think that growing is all about um just forward movement. Like if I'm not moving forward, I'm not growing. How about if you're not shifting, if you're not being flexible, that could also be impeding your growth, because we really have to learn how to say, what do I need in this moment? What do I need to do right now that will allow you opportunities to grow, partnerships to grow, all of those things? But that comes from flexibility. And so in this season of my life, I am having to abandon my routine and try some new stuff out. Try new timetables, try different ways that I do things, connecting with different people. I'm having to shift all of that so that I can move forward. And that can be scary because um, routines, if you're like me, when I am out of sync with my routine, I can just feel off kilter. Like, dang, I just feel like I need to do whatever. And it kind of throws me off. But I'm realizing that in this season of growth, I cannot allow my emotions to be the driving force behind every decision. I'm going to say it again. We cannot allow our emotions to be the driving force behind every decision. There are times where we have to do things that we don't feel like doing, do things that are off of our schedule, do things that just take us out of our routine. That's necessary because opportunities are not always involved in your routine. Honestly, some of my best days happen when I don't plan them. When I just make a decision like, yo, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Those are some of my best days. And yes, your routine could even be a healthy routine, but is it what you need in this season of your life? I mean, some of us got great routines. We go to bed every day at 9 o'clock and we're up before dawn and we're at the gym and we are having our coffee at this time, devotion at this time, prayer, meditation at this time. Like we got it all planned out. Meanwhile, there is something that is calling you in another direction. I am just here to say it's okay to shift if you need to. I am not saying be chaotic and don't have a routine and get all off course. By no means am I encouraging that. But what I am encouraging is that it's okay if you feel within yourself that today I need to move in a different direction. Today I need to shift. Today this is required of me. Do that, because the loyalty to your routine could also be loyalty to your emotions. Like if you are in a routine, this is so I'll give some transparency to draw context. And I explained to you all that I am on this journey of self transformation, physical transformation, and taking care of me. One thing that I've learned about myself is that when I feel overwhelmed, then I'm typically want to go and get something bad to eat and just say, whatever, I'm just gonna just treat myself. And that has been a routine for me. That is the way that I have chose to handle my emotions. Well, because I am on a journey to transform myself, the routine of responding to my emotions with food is counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. So I have had to break that routine. So be it, it's a negative routine, but you get the point of what it is that needs to be done. I need sometimes, if you're a person that's getting up every morning to go to a gym at a certain time, you might have a meeting one day and you might have to fall out of that routine by getting up earlier to work out or working out later because of the demands of your day. It requires that you change your routine and shift. So that is what I'm talking about, just that level of flexibility. And in my transparency, I have not always been the most flexible person for change, because when I make up in my mind, this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be. And I am learning it doesn't work like that. That I have to move around and make some things shape. Also, just emotions are so fickle. I'm reading this book called The Garden Within, really good book. And one of the things that's suggested in the book is that emotions start in our bodies. And the writer talks about being more intentional about listening to our bodies so that we can process the emotions before they come out of us. So sometimes we just, I got a headache today. What is that? Right? I got tension in my shoulders. What is that? And so even in those scenarios where we feel those things, we have to be so in tune with ourselves and listen from within so we know how to move. But sometimes we can overexert ourselves because of a routine, or we can push ourselves in a direction that we don't need to go into because of a routine, but we're not listening to ourselves and we're just like, I gotta do it. I love that mentality, like, make it happen. I don't care what you do, make it. I love that. But there are times when it's like you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do? How do I need to pivot today? That is so important. And when we do that, we're teaching ourselves how to honor our needs. Not necessarily honoring your emotions, but your needs, because sometimes pushing ourselves all the time and not listening to ourselves, we are ignoring our own needs, all in the name of, this is what I have to do, this is my routine. But what if growth is dependent on you listening to what you need? And it's dependent on that. There comes a time where you have to ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need to go to the next level? I know that I've been following this blueprint, but is that what I need in this season of my life? Is that what I need to do right now? And maybe it is, and maybe it is not. But I want you to turn that loyalty to self loyalty, self care. We talk about all the time the care. How do we take care of ourselves? But what does self care look like for you in this season? We have a responsibility to know when the season in our lives have changed, because we could be following the routine of last season in our current season, and therefore we're stunting our own growth. So that flexibility to pivot because it's a new season is necessary. I don't think that in the summer any of us get up and say, "Ooh, let me put on my boots, my coat, my scarf, and my gloves so I can go outside." You may have done that in the winter season for 2 months straight. You might have every day put on your boots, your gloves, your shoes, your scarf, whatever you needed to accommodate where you live in the weather. You may have done that through the winter season. Spring comes, depending on where you live, because spring can show out. But say spring comes and it's nice, the weather is warming up. You could get up and put on boots and gloves and the scarf and everything in the spring season and create discomfort in your life because you weren't willing to be flexible in a new season. That may sound ridiculous because you're like, I'm not going to do that. But what are you doing from last season that you don't need to be doing in this season? What part of your routine needs to change in this season? And those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves as we are gearing towards change, as we are embarking upon transformation, as we're accomplishing our goals. What needs to change in my life? What do I need to move around? What do I need to tweak? All of those little things make the world of difference. It can be the smallest change in your day, in your attitude, in your routine, that can create the most significant change in your life. And so this is the encouragement to just be flexible. I had to like pop myself on the wrist and say, girl, be flexible. I know you want to do it your way, but you need to be flexible. You need to allow yourself to just shift just a little bit. Don't be so rigid. And through those small little changes, I'm just seeing things that I've been working and sweating for it to change. All of a sudden, through a little just fine tuning, a little bit of flexibility, things are changing. And I just want to you all to know how significant that is in your process. I know you're not used to it. And it may be uncomfortable at first. You may feel like it's throwing you off a bit. Give it a shot. Just try it. Just see. See what happens. See how you feel. See how it helps you to grow. See how it creates more opportunities for you. Just give it a little chance. We are on our way to bigger and better things, but it requires a little give from us. The way we've done it may not always be the way we should do it. What worked in your last season may not work in this season. What brought you joy in one season may be robbing you of joy in another season. But we have to be in tune with ourselves, in tune with how we feel, in tune with what we need. And we must become more loyal to ourselves than we are to our routine. Don't be the reason that you're not growing. Don't do that. Don't be so stuck in your ways that you sacrifice all that you're working towards because you're like, I'll do everything but that. I guarantee you it's the but that's going to bring the most change, the most joy to your life. And so I'm one of those people, y'all, that if I can keep it the way it always is, I enjoy it. I can just be in my bliss. I like things to be the way that they are. But the reality is, I am challenging myself on all cylinders to change up my routine, to change how I do things, to really tap into what do I need in this season that I am in right now. That's what matters to me. And I hope that you will allow that to be the thing that matters to you in this season as well. We on our way. We wrapping up this year. We still got time to scratch those things off our list that we said we were going to do. We don't have to wait till January 1. We could do it right now. It's just those little tweaks. So I encourage you for the rest of the year, make tweaks to how you are doing things. Make tweaks so that you can see the things that you want to see, so you can reach the goals that you said you want to reach. Ultimately, so you can bring joy back into your life. You got this. I'm rooting for you. You know it. And I'm rooting for me. Thanks for joining my session, allowing me to be vulnerable. I hope that you gained something from it. I hope that you took some tools away that you can apply to your own life. And I hope that you'll check me out once again next time on Coach Therapy. Until then, have a wonderful week. I'll talk to y'all next time.